Great. Well, thank you everybody for joining. I'm wanted to introduce myself. My name is Paul Sally. I'm the Director of Product Partners here at Inside Real Estate. I'm excited to have a slew of guest hosts with me today. We're going to dive in talking about something that should be at the forefront of your radar, especially those that are joining us today and those that maybe this topic has caught your eye. We're going to talk a little bit about growing your team, and specifically growing your team in 2021. This is a great opportunity to start talking about what recruiting will look like, maybe why you're recruiting. Maybe it's something you've been thinking about but haven't actually gone all the way to start getting started. Maybe you're feeling overwhelmed with not knowing where to start, or what the value is to you as an agent or a team in growing from being a single agent, or even growing your established team. So I'm really honored to have these guests here with me. We're going to introduce them here shortly, but we're going to talk and use their expertise and take advantage of them being on here. These folks live and breathe recruiting, and we're also going to showcase to you as KV Core users how you can tap into KV Core and leverage some really great and potent recruiting tools at your disposal to help you facilitate those recruiting efforts. First, I want to introduce and let my guest host introduce himself. Great to have Brody Saunders. He's the CEO and founder of Ideal Estate and Ideal Estate Recruiting, which is newly integrated into the KV Core platform. Welcome, Brody. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us, Paul. Really appreciate it and excited to be here. And I'm excited to also introduce Brandon and Shannon. They're both experienced agents, experienced coaches, and also very experienced with agent attraction. And, which we'll go through is really about relationship building. And so we're going to kind of highlight some ways that you can kind of take the capital R out of recruiting, put it into relationship building, and try to build better results as you interact with other agents and make new connections. That's something we really want to highlight today.
Yeah, thank you so much. Brandon, great to have you here. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself a little bit. I know that you are a real estate agent, you're a coach, and you actually host a couple of podcasts. So it's great to have you. You're someone that lives and breathes all things real estate, in particular in the recruiting. Welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm actually out here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I have been licensed since 2005. And yes, I do have a couple different podcasts. One of them was the main one. And I think we're going to kind of get into it as we talk about building relationships and things like that. The Learn for Two podcast was built with a couple ideas in mind, two of them mainly being learn with the intent to teach to others. And so I guess I kind of went twice there because I learned it once and I learned it again while I'm teaching it to others. And then as well, finding my voice for those who need it. And so those are a couple of the pillars that I built that on, as well as just have a new book out that I put out there as well. It's called The Semi-Retired Real Estate Agent. Shameless plug, but yeah, I've put everything that I've kind of learned all in together, and that's kind of why I'm here today, is to kind of share what knowledge I have with anybody who's looking to hear it.
No, that's fantastic. Thanks. We're excited to hear from you. We also have Shannon on with us. He's a real estate agent and he's a trainer as well. I know that he also has been immersed in the trenches of real estate and has had some great success and has had the opportunity to share some of those principles of success with others. Thanks for joining us, Shannon.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Brody. Brandon, great to be on here with all you guys. You guys are just absolute rock stars. I've been licensed since 2002. Started out doing new builds and then worked my way into the residential field. And about 10 years ago, I got into coaching. I've written a couple of books and things of that nature. I've been featured on a lot of different things, Featured Agent Magazine, Top Agent Magazine, those kind of things. I have a background in media. I was in radio and television broadcasting for many, many years before. And it's actually kind of helped me whenever it comes to knowing what to say, how to say it, knowing how to talk to people, knowing how to engage with people, things of that nature. And most recently, in the past couple of years, I've been training a lot of folks on your platform, Paul, on KV Core. I've been able to train well over 1,000 agents on this platform, and I'm telling you, it's an amazing platform. And you put it together with what Brody has got with Ideal Estate. Oh my goodness! I mean, it's a match made in heaven. It really is.
No, thanks so much, Shannon. Yeah, there's a lot of great synergies that we're going to be talking about. So we're excited to cover that. So let's go ahead and dive in. Wanted to just tee up the agenda real quick here. I won't spend too much time on here, but we're going to come out of the gates to show you a hands-on demonstration of how to use this new integration inside of KV Core and discuss how KV Core can facilitate and nurture potential recruits or potential individuals that you handpick and select from the vast pool of about 1 million users inside of Ideal Estate's platform. It's called the Ideal Estate Recruiting Offering, and it is, as I mentioned, newly integrated into KV Core. KV Core acts as a great vehicle, as you know, for communication, and it also acts as a great vehicle for communication and nurturing with potential recruits. So we're going to dive in and show you what that looks like, what the experience looks like, how to get started. I know sometimes new integrations and things can be intimidating as well. So we're going to just really show you a step-by-step hands-on introduction onto the Ideal Estate Recruiting integration and show you the actual platform of both, what it looks like to get started on Ideal Estate, and then how those two will connect, KV Core and Ideal Estate, to help you hit your recruiting needs, or even if you're thinking about starting to recruit. Then we're going to dive in and take advantage of our panelists here. We're going to talk a little bit about why should I grow my team in 2021? What's the advantages? Why should this be of interest to me as a real estate professional? Then we're going to talk a little bit more about the methodology, some how-tos. I know that both of these individuals are, Shannon and Brandon, are trainers, so they can really break it down in a digestible way and show us how to grow your team and the methodology and approach to take. Lastly, we're going to go over some closing remarks. I've asked these two to give us kind of a state of the industry. They have a great pulse on recruiting trends and real estate trends that everybody can benefit from, just so you know and are aware of what they've seen coming out of this crazy year in 2020 and into 2021, about how things have changed and what you can expect there. So let's go ahead and get started here.
Absolutely. Is it okay if I share my screen, Paul?
Yeah.
Pull it up.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a quick introduction. As I mentioned, you'll notice those on the webinar that are seeing this, you'll notice this KV Core platform logo should be familiar. The one next to it, Ideal Estate Recruiting, that is the new integration. This is what we're going to cover. Success strategies, best practices. I know, Brody, you're going to touch on kind of how to approach this from an individual approach, because you as an individual agent or a team leader, your value proposition is different from anybody else's out there. So we'll touch a little bit about that. And then on best practices, how can you use this technology? We'll introduce the tech to you, but we're also going to show you how to use it. So let me go ahead and pass the screen over to you here.
Yeah, no worries. Second. Okay, hopefully everyone can see my screen okay. And I've got you up here, Brandon. So what I'd like to do is just kind of walk through, just sort of kind of the philosophy of Ideal Estate, what we're really trying to do, and how it applies to recruiting, agent attraction, whatever you want to call it. But again, it's really all relationship building. And what we really are at Ideal Estate is we've really become the LinkedIn of real estate. So we have over 1 million agents on our site. And a lot of those agents obviously are looking to either join a new team or switch brokerages. And so we created this product to align people that are looking to grow their team with people that are looking to either get into the industry, connect with other people, or maybe even just make a change. A lot of people are moving these days to different areas. And so, they're needing to potentially make changes, and they understand real estate but they don't understand necessarily agent attraction. So we wanted to create something that really hit a bunch of different stress points. When it comes to agent attraction, first thing, you have to be in front of a lot of agents. And so having a way for an agent to see you, but also for you to see them. So in agent attraction, it's as important for a candidate to be able to get to know you, just like in dating. And I'll use dating analogies probably all day today. But basically, they need to be able to understand who you are as an agent. And you have to answer the most important question when you're trying to do agent attraction, which is why should someone join your team? And this is something Brandon will talk about and Shannon will talk about a lot, which is how do you lead with value? What makes you special? Why should someone want to join? And then, also, one thing I see is you need to evaluate properly that not everyone looking to join your team is necessarily the right fit, just like dating. And so we've really built our entire platform around relationship building, about reaching out in the normal course of business. And there just aren't that many sites where agents actually want to look at other agents. I'll show you some of the details that we bring in here. That's really exciting. But so right here, we're on Brandon's profile. As you can see, he has the ability to add his pitch. So this allows him to put in a video. It allows him to put in some information. And what's really cool here is we track everyone that looks at your pitch, everyone that looks at your video. And so every person that views your profile is a potential candidate to start a conversation. You're able to identify, what are you looking for? So, you're looking for agents, certain location, nationwide, whatever the needs that you have are, and what fits your wheelhouse. And that helps us match you with candidates that are either looking to join a new team or people that might be interested. I'll jump over just really quick. From the candidate standpoint, looking at Shannon's profile, here's his pitch, here's his profile. You see a button that says, I'm interested. With the KV Core integration, anyone who clicks this goes straight into the right nurture campaign on KV Core. You're alerted, and you can actually check out stuff on our side to see their stats, everything else. I'll get into that. But I wanted you to see the candidate's perspective, which, a lot of agents using things like broker metrics or trying to meet people on LinkedIn, you don't have the same two-way insight. This is really, created to showcase the value of an agent. You can see Brandon's got his services here. So he's able to showcase not just himself as an agent, but a coach. So you can put in services and we help connect you with opportunities there. And that's a reason why someone would want to join your team is you're going to provide coaching, mentorship. That all of those things have a lot of value. And so going through, we help you connect with people, and this is really the matchmaking. And so you can also find recruits though. So, and jumping over here real quick, you can see Brandon has built a network of 85,000 agents. So I'll let him share how he did that. That means he shows up first to 85,000 agents, and it makes it so he gets more traction. But as you can see, we ask every agent that signs up a series of questions. One of those questions, are they interested in joining a new team? We call these people hand raisers. And, it's something you won't find on any other site, which is people willing to answer that question and connect with the right team. And so what we see with people that lead with value, is they have great results. If you look at people that, don't take a personalized approach, or they jump from first base to third base, again, just meeting someone, not a good idea. So we wanted to create a more subtle approach. So he not only has the ability for us to help match him with the right folks, he also has the ability to search. And so Brandon can come to our search features here, and he can actually search our entire database. He can use these filters to choose location, how many listings someone has, and he can actually check someone's metrics on the fly just by clicking right here. And so he gets a sense for exactly who people are, what they produce. He can send them messages. He can click the recruit button and send them straight to KV Core to start their specialized nurture campaign, which we're constantly working on, constantly refining, based on results and everything else. But you have the ability to check anyone's stats, and you'll notice, and I'll show you a few more things, but you're able to see everyone's phone number, email, when you go to your notification center. This is just within the last, 24 hours. He has the ability to connect. He can share his pitch with anyone he wants to. He can see what they looked at, what they're interested in, and he can send them straight to KV Core from here. And this is a new feature we recently introduced. And so from this main dashboard, he has the ability to really run his entire real estate brand from one simple profile. And so it covers the recruiting part, gives him two-way insight. As you go through and you look at the notifications, this is something that we're excited about. So you can see there's these different tags that we've given people, and these are very important. So an interested candidate means they've clicked the button and they said, I'm interested in joining your team. Now, we also connect you with hand raisers and basically say they're looking to join a team, and you need to make the case for why it should be yours. That's as important for them as anything else. And then we also have qualified, suggested, and recruiter selected. So recruiter selected means you went and said, I would like to throw this person in. I'd like to use KV Core to manage the follow-up, to manage the outreach, to help nurture, which is, KV Core is the nurture. We find people and we connect you. We build the relation, or we connect you with the right people. They build the relationship. And so it's a great, sort of confluence of really cool ideas here. And so you can see a qualified candidate is someone who's taken interest. They've looked at your pitch, they've looked at your video, and they have to do that several times. So this is someone that we're saying you should follow up with this person. They meet your criteria, they've watched your stuff, they've looked at you. You should follow up with them and start a conversation. And where we see the conversations go really well is when people lead with value. So, and I'll let Brandon talk about that and Shannon about how this works. But when you lead with value, it's talking about when you join my team, I'm going to take care of you. It's a relationship. You're going to have to work with the person every day. You need to lead with that. So, kind of jumping in, Brandon, do you have any thoughts here? I mean, you can kind of guide me around if you'd like, and kind of talk about, your approach and, obviously you've got your great services and things down here, but, how, you have a great philosophy on leading with value. And so I'd love to have you share a little.
Yeah. So what I did is I, created a couple of things that, that I thought would be valuable for people that were joining. So, when I send a connection request, I'll offer them I created a PDF, like 3 ways to get your ideal estate going, like right now. And it's pretty overwhelming when you get in, you kind of don't know. So there's that. And I also created like a Facebook group for ideal estate when you get on, so people can share like what's going on and certain things that, one of the biggest tips that I've learned is that instead of constantly like searching, like as we're trying to give value, but we're still searching for people, just by doing certain things, like if you scroll down to my my boards.
Yeah,
I decided to have fun with it, right? Like Shannon, you and I know about making real estate fun again, right? But it is, we're all kind of stuffy all the time, right? So I started just going through movies, and I was like, hey, Sweep the Leg, Cobra Kai homes in San Bernardino. Like I go to homes where, I had Tiger King homes. Like I went to where Tiger King was filmed and things like that, just to make it fun. And this will pop up and people will come back. And this is why I say, like, number one, even before, especially on recruiting wise, even before you have your listings up, make sure that you have something that will bring people back to you. But even before that, have a service that people can get to know you. So turn this kind of like into a landing page where people can come down and look, okay, there's my book right there. Now you can go get your book from there. Perfect. Now they know that about me. There's another podcast that I'm starting to work on that trying to get guests. Are you interested in that? Certain things that tell your story on here, because people are going to, when you get the messages, it'll say this person looked at your service. So who's coming back. So all you have to do to even generate traffic back to people looking for you is go click on someone's name, because it's going to say, every time somebody views my profile, I get a notification that says they did it. So now if I go and go into Shannon's profile, he's likely going to go, oh, well, who's Brandon? What's this guy want? And he's going to come back to my profile. Mm-hmm. So right there, you're already kind of generating your own traffic, and it doesn't cost a thing to get people there. But then when your services and even your boards, like I like to inject a little bit of humor. I like to have a good time. So that's why I do Cobra Kai and, a couple of, I think I did Goonies homes in Astoria, Oregon, stuff like that.
That one was awesome.
Yeah.
One thing, not to interrupt you, Brandon, but just so they know how the boards got here, we provide access to a nationwide MLS. And we don't share your client information with Zillow. We actually do the opposite of that. But Brandon's built this network of 85,000, and he can create collections of homes, even his own homes. This is something outside recruiting, but I want to mention it. You can click this one button. I'm going to do this, Brandon, if that's cool with you. But basically, he has shared that with 85,000 people. And so that's a great way for him to promote himself. Everyone likes looking at homes, and it shows up in the activity feed we have right here. So it's kind of fun. So sorry to interrupt, but I wanted them to have that context.
And Brandon, when you're coaching and training and advising people on growing their team, would you say that cultural fit is one of the major criterias of someone to join a team or someone looking to join a team?
Absolutely. You know, you want to know one of the funniest things that like the biggest like realization that I've had recently is that you know, obviously when you're recruiting or attracting agents, you want to have like the biggest team ever, right? And be able to do that. Clubhouse app, if anybody has that, that has actually shown me more than ever how many agents I actually don't want to work with. I mean, I'm not trying to be rude, but some of the things that I hear on that, I'm like, there's no way we would never align at all. Sure. And it kind of takes the pressure off of being someone who's trying to recruit and attract agents, because you're just like, you know what, that's just, it's just not going to fit. And it takes, yeah, Shannon, you.
I don't want to cut you off, but if I can chime in, it's really about the quality of an agent versus the quantity of an agent, right? I mean, that's one thing I've learned is I used to just, when I first joined our company, I was going out and I was grabbing every warm body that I could get, right? What I found out was if I did not build that relationship with them and we did not have something to connect with a little bit deeper than just me being a coach and them being a real estate agent, or me being their business partner, right? If we didn't have something deeper than that, then I noticed that they're the first ones to say, I'm out, right? Yeah. Would you agree with that, Brandon?
100%, 100%. And that's kind of where, you know, I'm looking for the people that are in it with me, like, and can see the vision long-term. And I've had that same thing when I've had people just be like, even in my better judgment, I'll be like, hey, okay, that's fine. Come on, let's work it out. And then it becomes, I was just on a call before this, and we talked about convincing and sorting. Mm-hmm. And as you can tell, I'm not sure if you read the book, Building an Empire by Brian Carruthers, but you'll have, yeah. So he talks about that too, where as you're recruiting and attracting, you're trying to, if you just sort through a deck of cards to find the aces, you're going to find them much quicker than trying to take that 6 and erase it and make it look like an ace. And I think that's where, you know, Paul, to your point, the culture, and you can have different cultures. I'm not saying that one culture is right, one culture is wrong, but the culture from joining me and the culture from joining Shannon might be completely different.
Right.
And some of them might overlap and work for both of us, but others might be one end that works for me and then one end that works for Shannon.
Right. So this drives home when you access, and we did have a question come up, you actually access the Ideal Estate recruiting platform from the KB Core Marketplace, which I'll show you shortly. So once you access it, it will prompt you to build a profile, and all of this discussion just builds on the importance of building out that profile and taking advantage of what Ideal Estate has to offer to actually handpick recruits as well, if you choose to, because you can really find that cultural fit.
Yeah, you can reach out in the normal course of business in a way that, you know, you can start a conversation. Maybe it starts with sharing referrals. You know, the reason the MLS was created was to help agents help other agents sell homes. And so when agents cooperate, they actually get better outcomes. And, you know, a lot of companies have taught them to fear one another as competitors. And so one thing we've done here is agents are used to connecting. And once you're connected to someone on the site, every time you get a new listing, every time you post an update to your service, it keeps the network up to speed with the latest developments in your business so they can see how you're working in real time without you having to pound the ground and try to really, you know, make that obvious to people. And so there's a subtlety to recruiting here that I think is very valuable for teams and brokerages, to be able to connect, to not have to cold call or send sort of canned message. You can do this, and you can do it in 10, 15 minutes a day if you want, or you can live on the site. So there's a lot of different ways you can approach it.
Yeah, Brody, I mean, hats off to you for creating this software, because I think this was absolutely brilliant. We've had all kinds of different social media platforms out there, And every realtor joins every real estate group. And if you ever belong to a real estate group, like what Brandon was saying, you can go through and you can go, okay, I don't want that person. I don't want that person. I don't want that person. Right. I mean, but the thing about it is you have to physically go through every post, and you have to go through and you look at how they're responding. And you know, if they start asking really novice questions and they're like annoying about it, then you're like, okay, well, this is someone that I'm going to have to like literally hold their hand every step of the way, right? So you might not want to go that route, right? But you're going to have to do that, to go through all of those comments in that post to find the people that you're looking for. The beautiful thing about this is that it gets you right out there. It gets you in front of your ideal people. They see you, you see them, and you can start a soft conversation with them. You can start building a relationship. You know, my senior business partner, who is a gentleman by the name of Rob Flick, okay? And he always said that we're looking for people who are looking for us, right? And that's really been my take. When it comes to me agent attracting, again, I'm like Brandon. I'm not going to take every person that knocks on my door and says, hey, can I join your team? Because I want there to be a fit there. I want them to be comfortable. I want them to know that they can trust me, that I'm going to be able to go in and I'm going to be able to coach them. I'm going to be able to train them however they need to be trained. And I'm going to be able to make them a little bit more successful than what they are today, presently. Okay.
Sure.
If I've got someone who's a know-it-all, and I don't mean to be rude, but if I've got someone who's a know-it-all, okay, they're never going to take me seriously. They're never going to listen to some of my advice, and some of my advice is coming from some of my superiors, right? So you have to be very careful when you're choosing talent, that you are literally handpicking. Just like he said, you're going through the cards and you're looking, there's an ace, there's an ace, there's an ace, right? That's what you're looking for. You're not looking for someone that's going to white out the six and make it an ace. That was a great analogy, Brandon.
Yeah.
I wish I came up with it.
Well, the other part too is, again, using the dating thing, not to be, redundant here, but asking questions about the other person first, not leading with just yourself, but, how is your business? What's missing? How can I be helpful to you? What can I do for you? Is going to provoke a better response than here's everything about me and, et cetera, et cetera. Having people be able to have a conversation, get to know them. And we approach recruiting as not a smash and grab. Okay. If you're going to, if you meet someone at a bar and you get married, you're probably going to get divorced soon. If you build a relationship over a little bit of time, you're going to have a long-term better outcome. And I think that's probably universal across the board.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's 100% about relationships, guys. I mean, if you're serious about agent attraction, it's 100% about relationships. I mean, Brandon and I work for a large company, and we, and we, people know who we are, right? So now it is about picking the right talent. It's not about someone hearing about our company for the first time,
Yeah.
Yeah, and on the I just want to throw something in, Brody, on the as far as the messaging, like when you're building your network and connecting with people, the messaging that you send. I mean, I've had a ton of messages that come in, basically how my profile is set up in a specific way, but I get messages from a lot of people that are just, hey, we have this, we have this, we have this, we have this. Watch this video, we're awesome, and like there's nothing there, and I liken it to like, if you go like there's a prescription before diagnosis. It's like you go to the doctor and they go, hey, here's 3 awesome pills, take them. Like this one's for blood pressure, best ever. This one's for diabetes, best ever. This one's for cholesterol, best ever. Here you go.
They ask you how you're feeling.
I just stubbed my toe. I want to know if it's broken. Like you didn't even give me a chance to say what I'm needing in my business that you are going to magically help all of a sudden. So that's where like the nugget that had, like the light went off for me as far as messaging goes. Because, we as recruiters, like most of us haven't been trained to be recruiters. So we go out and like do what we think is best. We get excited what we get excited about. And then we just go, blah. And they're like, well, I'm not excited about that. And you go, oh, I screwed that up.
We almost
like
follow
a salesman. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm sorry. I said, we almost follow, it's almost like we're following a herd. You know what I mean? We watch what other people have done and we go, oh, this is what we need to do, right? And so I see this exactly what Brandon's talking about. I constantly on other platforms get messages every single day. Hey, you should join our company because we offer blah, 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 blah. And here is the best part of it. And here is a video, go watch it, right? The thing about it is what's important to me may not be important to you, right? I can't tell you how many times I have literally led, when I first started out with my agent attraction, I led with, oh, you've got to see this particular product that we offer, KV Core, for example, right? It's wonderful. You got to have it. You got to have it. Well, come to find out, that wasn't their biggest why. That wasn't their biggest thing. Their biggest thing was, oh, I want to know, are you going to be there to answer my phone? Right? Are you going to be able to take my calls? Are you going to be able to help me when I'm in trouble? Not saying that KV Core is not a wonderful tool. It's a fantastic tool, right? But I'm just saying that with me being a KV Core trainer, I was pushing that aspect so hard to get people to join my team when that was really, it was a wonderful aspect for them. And they found out they really liked it afterwards, but it wasn't what was on their mind to begin with. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you might start with someone that takes an interest in your service for coaching or, in a referral, and you build a relationship with them, and then, they become someone that, it's like, well, we've worked together.
Mm-hmm.
Come join in.
Exactly.
I can stop sharing my screen too. If you want to go back through the rest of the agenda, I think this covers the kind of the product side, unless you guys have anything else you want to go over.
Brody, would you mind going back to where you can send individuals to KV Core? I just want to.
So you can do it. You can do it here through the search, but through notifications.
Yeah. So search and notifications. This is. Yeah, I'll let you continue, but this is kind of where the 1 + 1 = 3 value proposition is. We actually had someone chime in here saying they're excited to see the KV Core integration from the nurturing aspect. They said that they've loved Ideal Estate from the vast pool and the ability to share out who they are and look at who people are, but being able to nurture through KV Core is really helpful.
Yeah, and that's something I want to cover too today. Excuse me. But we've put together some nurture campaigns that we feel good about. But I recommend everyone who has the opportunity. And one thing I want to say about this, not to be kind of private about it, but we are making this an exclusive product. So we're only going to allow a select number of people to use this product to maintain the quality. Once someone is sent to KV Core, they cannot be recruited by anyone else for 6 weeks. And so this is something where we're giving you some time to build the relationship, to work on KV Core, but you also have the ability to connect and message and continue to recruit in an unlimited way on our side. So you're never not recruiting on Ideal Estate, and you're never not nurturing on KV Core. So we're covering those bases in a huge way. And we're going to integrate some new information where we're going to send the profile stats, everything over to KV Core as well, so that you can basically have everything in one place, both places, but this is kind of the epicenter where you can do stuff. And you really have the option once we've made a match to really choose things. So
yeah,
I think it'll be great. And let's jump into the KV Core side if you're ready, Paul.
Sounds great. And I do want to mention, depending on how that potential recruit or individual is found, whether it's a match that Ideal Estate recognizes or whether it's a recruit that you manually push to be nurtured, the campaigns on the receiving end inside of KV Core are different for each of those audiences. So each of those different audiences, whether you handpicked someone to reach out to, or if they reach out to you, they'll have relevant conversations or relevant follow-up with them. So let me go ahead and share my screen back.
Are you able to? Do I need to do something? You're all good.
I think I got it here. Cool, thanks. So I know everyone on this call are KV Core users. So I do want to show you, people have been asking, how do I access this? Is it a link that I go to, or is it inside of KV Core already? I want to show you this. Here's KV Core. I'm inside of Marketplace. So if you click on Marketplace and you scroll down, you will see Ideal Estate Agent Recruiting. And if you click on Learn More, there will be a brief explanation of what we just covered with Brody. And then you can click Add to KV Core. From there, you will be sent with your KV Core credentials being pushed over to Ideal Estate to give you the opportunity to select which recruiting package you'd like. And then you will move forward to create your profile. And that's the profiles that we just saw that Brandon was sharing with us, Brody and Shannon. And then from there, you'll be off to the races starting to recruit.
Indeed. And then
So
kind of once you get in, yeah, this is where the magic happens as well.
Yeah. So I do want to show the experience from the KV Core side here. This is a demo account, so it's not filled out like those of you on the call here. So right here, you'll notice that I'm inside of my dashboard. So we all know that this is the first thing we go to when we log on to KV Core. We can see leads that are coming through, statuses of properties and things. So inside of here, there will be new leads with the source Ideal Estate. And that's how you will know that someone has been successfully passed over from the Ideal Estate platform to be triggered into a nurturing campaign. And you don't need to do anything. Once you see this lead, you can rest assured that these people are being nurtured and followed up on your behalf. Over the course of about 2 weeks, we're nurturing these individuals. And then once these nurturing campaigns have run their course, you will be prompted to follow up with them live on a phone call. So that's what that will look like. Right here under the activity feed, you can actually use this drop down to filter the leads by Ideal Estate. So you can identify those leads. And then you can also go over to your Smart CRM, and you'll notice that underneath some of your contacts, it will say you can either recruiter selected, recruiter qualified, and the other four category tags that are pertinent to recruiting. And these are filters, as you can see on the top here. These filters are all applied to Ideal Estate Recruiting. So you have the option immediately to click Ideal Estate Recruiting, and you'll see one of those 4 filters associated with each of those contacts. So you'll know right away. You won't need to sift through contacts to see which ones have been brought over by the Ideal Estate Recruiting platform.
And that's very important that you don't jump the gun, because some people, they're interested, they need to be nurtured. And if you call them too early, you're jumping the gun too early. So the whole point of this is to help cultivate, follow up on the KV Core side, where you have a Rolodex on Ideal Estate of most of the producing agents in the country. So it works out really great, but you need to make sure that the nurture, and yes, you can customize it. I see this coming up. I think you covered this, and looks like Kathleen, how are you on here? I see you. And I do work with our agents hands-on, of course. But anyway, so long story short, making sure you customize a little bit on the KV Core side would be incredibly helpful. Just, we covered the overlap in people being recruited more than once, but you want to have your own voice. You want to have your own message. And you want to understand a little bit about the other person to start a conversation. The whole point's to get a conversation started, to constantly be recruiting, and then you can kind of go from there.
That's right. And to use Brandon's analogy of throwing out the prescription before the diagnosis, that's what the technology does. It's going to nurture these individuals. It's going to slowly and tactfully prompt them up and introduce to them who you are and what the purpose is for you reaching out. And then once those nurturing campaigns or the diagnosis, the consultation has been completed, then you'll be able to engage live with the accurate prescription. And that prescription will be one of success, because you'll know and be on the same footing and same ground of what your conversation is going to continue and evolve into.
Exactly.
So
Yeah, absolutely.
Paul, if I could chime in on that for just a little bit.
Yeah, of course.
What you're saying, I agree 100% with, but I will say this also. When, let's say, and I'm not saying this would happen necessarily, but let's say that you're in a larger market and you have 50 people that are sending the same thing over and over, as Brody was saying earlier, right? You've got to go in and customize things to make you stand out a little bit more. If everyone is getting the exact same message, from 50 different people, they don't know who to choose, right? They don't know who to talk to. So you've got to take the time to do some customization. That's one of the things that I teach in my KV Core training, is all about, you've got to be able to customize. Nothing wrong with the KV Core campaigns, but I
Sure.
personally go in and I change those, and the people that sign up for my class get a customized buyer campaign and a customized seller campaign, because they need something more unique rather than just being part of the herd, so to speak.
Sure.
You guys agree with that?
And Shannon,
100%.
Shannon, since you're, and for those of you who are KV Core Power users, you know that we have Core Video powered by BombBomb. I just want to say what a powerful tool that could be in personalization. You can actually create a video of yourself introducing you and your team, and then incorporate that into a campaign that goes out. So that's a great call, Shannon.
Absolutely.
Great, good insight.
So to kind of double down on that, it wasn't with on this platform, but double down on the power of video. I had, and Brody knows this story. When I found Ideal Estate, I didn't know I was trying to create Ideal Estate, but I was going through trying to create my own network through LinkedIn. And anyway, so a couple of weeks ago, I had someone that popped up, hey, it's a work anniversary for the person that I haven't talked to like in a year and a half. And I was like, oh, she never responded to anything that I sent her. So I grabbed my book. I was in the car. I was on my way to mail some out, and I just quick video said, "Hey, Megan, congrats on 4 years. What an accomplishment. Just for that, I would like to send you a copy of my book. Just let me know where to send it." Like 2 minutes later, yeah, here's my address. Send it when you can. And it was just the power of video was like that quick. And now we're friends on Facebook, and she's sending me videos of her. Like all of a sudden I get a message in Facebook, and I'm like, what is this? Here she is with her dogs in the back. She said something like her dogs in the background. We never talked about her dogs before, but she wanted me to see her dogs playing in the backyard.
No, that's
There's
great.
a relationship building just from the video aspect, like you're saying, that you can do with BombBomb within KV Core.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Feature was amazing. That was probably one of the best features that you guys added, in my opinion, because it is really, really changing not just getting the leads, but the conversion of the leads, right? So, I mean, people feel like they already know you. If you do a video, and you can make it very generic, right? It doesn't have to be, hey, thanks for dropping by our website. I know you've got plenty of opportunities to choose from, right? Something small like that. And you would not believe the amount of people that will respond. And that's an automated campaign that goes out for every buyer that comes to my website, right? Every seller that comes to my website, they get this automatic video message. And I'm telling you right now, that ups your conversion like you would never, ever, ever imagine.
Yes, no, thank you so much, Shannon and Brandon, for the insight. So imagine being able to start that relationship even sooner on with Ideal Estate. You're able to share with them who you are already. They already have an idea of who they are, or you have an idea of who they are. So you can marry those two together and be even more personable. But I want to shift gears a little bit.
Sure.
I appreciate both of you with your insights on showing the platform, the overview. I was able to show you kind of, again, that 1 + 1 = 3 value proposition with the vast network that Ideal Estate brings, and then the ability to kind of take that sneak peek and see who these individuals are about, and if they actually would be a good fit and of interest to recruit over, and then having the ability to send them over to KV Core and have the confidence that that is going on in the background while you're able to still conduct your business, running your business as a real estate professional. So it's really been a powerful integration and very well received. I'm excited for everyone to go try it out, check it out. But I do want to ask, why would an individual want to grow their team in 2021? And I want to throw this out to our panel here. What are the advantages of growing my team? What's the why behind growing?
You guys, I mean, I can start off, and these guys would have more influence in terms of, day-to-day stuff, but, the world's changed a lot in the last year. And I think going into the next year, having the ability, I think there's sort of a, untapped market out there that's going to explode once we get through COVID. And so people that are doing well in the industry are going to want to have more people to work for them. And I think that, you're looking at Zillow, you're looking at some of these other folks trying to really disrupt the agent. And, you know, we're taking the opposite approach, as everyone hopefully knows. But for agents to have a place and be able to, you know, build their business and do everything, everyone's trying to grow their team, the big companies. So in my opinion, it's very important for individual agents, for smaller brokerages, and then for everyone who's not Zillow to grow their teams as well. Because if you're not, it could be a challenge in 2021. And that's, I'm more optimistic this year than I ever have been in terms of the state of the real estate industry. I think it's going to be more exciting than ever.
No, thank you.
If I could chime in, for me personally, 2020 was a really rough year. I'm not gonna lie. I was hospitalized 17 times. I was 2 major surgeries, and I almost died during both of those. So it was not a very good year for me. So I wasn't able to sell the amount of real estate that I typically could sell, right? You're talking someone who typically sells 50, 60 homes a year. I wasn't able to come near that because most of the time I was either in or out of the hospital. So here's what you've got to understand is if you are just a single agent and you're just on your own, there's nothing wrong with that. I've been there, I've done that. And I've even been at companies where, I'm making 100%, the whole 9 yards, right? But you got to remember something. If something tragic happens in your life that you have no control over, an illness, a death, whatever it may be, you have nothing to fall back on. If you don't have a team and you don't have people in place to help you, you have nothing to fall back on. Fortunately, very fortunately, I have about 100 people on my team across the nation, okay? Very fortunately, I was able to continue life the way that it normally would be, right? Without having to worry about, oh my goodness, can I pay the electric bill this month? Oh my goodness, can I pay the car payment this month, right? Things like that really do matter. So I think in 2020, it was an eye-opener for me of the fact that you've got to have more than your eggs in one single basket.
That's good. That's a great insight.
Yeah.
And,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was gonna say I agree with that as well. For me as a single agent, I was getting ready to decide whether or not was I going to be my own broker, was I going to be a franchise, what was I going to do, and I think it just leads right into me that like learn for two. My dad was a school teacher. I just have that. I want to teach others, and I got to a point where I wanted to leave a legacy, and just selling more homes wasn't going to do that. My kids don't care how many homes I've sold. My friends have no clue. Like they don't care. But when I'm getting team members that are sending me photos from Hawaii saying, thank you for bringing me on board, like that's I'm getting chills right now because that's what's exciting to me. And just like Shannon had kind of I had a similar situation a couple years ago. I had a client who was supposed to close like January 17th, and he was a government employee, which is awesome, except for our government was shut down at the time. There was nobody to call to say, yeah, verification of employment, this guy works here. Nobody answering the phone. So that home didn't close on time. But during that extension that we had while we were waiting to hopefully that it was going to go through, my team that I've partnered with up in British Columbia, Canada, complete different country, closed enough for the mortgage to be paid. So, I mean, number one for me is like hearing the success stories of the people that have joined me on this mission. And number two is being able to not have to worry about that commission breath, and I get to be more selective on who I'm going to work with, and I don't have to on these Facebook groups. There's how many people are just getting hammered by their clients that are just mean to them, like cruel, and want their commission and all this stuff. And I want people to be able to go, I'm good. I'll go ahead and refer this one out. I don't need this right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've actually done that, right? I've been able to do that over the past few years since I've changed my brokerages. We'll leave it at that. But ever since I've been able to do that, I literally would meet with someone and they would say, "Oh, well, I know someone that'll list that house, that'll list a house, for a $500 fee, and they'll handle all this, and this." And then I could literally look at them and go, you know what? That's a wonderful opportunity for you. I think you should take it.
I couldn't agree more. I mean, when I started the company, I did it when I was buying a home and selling a home. And because I had a great agent, I got a great lender, appraisal, inspector, moving company, roofer, gardener. Everything starts with the agent. And they're the one, at your house at 10 o'clock at night while you're at dinner with your dog in the car, getting photos taken of your home. Um, People don't really understand the value of the agent. And, I think Zillow, a lot of these people are coming back saying, okay, well, we need agents now. But, from our standpoint, we've always created this to be agent friendly. And that's why we don't sell anyone's hard-earned leads to anybody.
That's great. So thank you for the considerations. Brandon, you mentioned that you were a single agent a couple of years back, or a while back. And I do want to be mindful, we have 5 minutes left, but I do want to touch on this. For those listening, what advice would you give them to get started? It's overwhelming. If I want to start a team, what should I do?
First and foremost, I'd identify your avatar. Who is it that you're wanting to work with? Because what happens is we do this as agents as well. We get into like here in Las Vegas, like it's not like a normal city on a number of levels, but basically on how it's laid out. I'm originally from Washington State. And so like you go from Bellevue, then there's a lake, and then there's Seattle, and then there's like all these different exits where you're in different cities. In Vegas, it's like, oh, I'm driving, all of a sudden I'm in Henderson or I'm in Summerlin. It's not like that. So a lot of agents will work all over, anywhere. But and we know what, the riches are in niches, right? So if you're trying to appease to all these agents, for me, and this isn't wrong for anybody to do, but for me, I don't go after agents that have just passed their real estate exam. I know that's a sweet spot for a lot of people. For me, I want to find people like myself that was like, okay, I'm at this point. I'm a top producer in my office. I'm ready to go. I was at 100%. Now what do? I need to make this move. And that's where I want to find people that were like me, that were kind of unsure of what to do. And I happened to take a leap of faith and it worked out. But that's the avatar that I've chosen to look for. And I think that that's number one.
No, that's great. That's great. Thank you. That's a great strategy. So identify who you want to go after and who do you want to grow with. And like you said, it could be a brand new agent. It just depends on who you're looking for. And I do want to tie that back to ideal state. Ideal state, when you're looking at who you want to actively recruit and push into KV Core to be nurtured, you can actually identify off of production who that individual will be, and off of geographical location. That was a question in the chat as well.
Absolutely.
Awesome, thanks. And then this will be our last slide. We have just under 5 minutes here. We've talked about, where do I start? What's number one? That's identifying our avatar. Who is it that we're going to go after? Who's our target audience? Next, I know that you both coach. Is there a system that you've developed to help someone progress somebody along? And then once you identify someone that, yes, this individual fits my avatar, my profile that I'm going after, and fits my culture, what are the steps that you take so you can successfully continue to run your real estate business while successfully bringing them on board and not letting them feel like they've been left in the dust?
If I can start with this, I believe that everything has to be systematic, right? So what I've done is I've actually gone and built an entire website. Once someone joins my team, it tells them step by step. Here's step number 1. Here's step number 2. Here's step number 3. And I'll literally call them. I'll say, okay, look here, I'm not going to overwhelm you. I'm not going to tell you to do all this at one time. I want you to take this week and I want you to work on step number 1. Next week, we're going to work on step number 2. The following week, step number 3, so on and so forth. And they're going to get on a phone with me and they're going to say, okay, I did this, and this, right?
Great.
Because if you don't have a system, what's going to end up happening is you're going to have mass chaos. Okay, it's the same thing with my coaching. Like I say, I train a ton of people on KV Core. I have a system that I go through with every single person. We're going to start on the right-hand side of KV Core. We're going to work our way down, and we're going to work our way to the left and then go down the list, right? That's what we're going to do. And you've got to have that system in place. Anytime you start willy-nillying, so to speak, anything like that, it's going to end disastrous for you. I can guarantee you.
No, thank you. So it sounds like a system that's very simply and explicitly broke out, and then following up to make sure that there's any questions that can be addressed. That's great. laying those out.
Could I give these guys a quick plug as well? Some people have asked Brandon and Shannon to share their websites and or contact info just to follow up. I think it'd be great for KB Core if that's okay, Paul.
Yeah, no, that's great, and I will. I'll make sure that we include that information in the follow up of the sharing out of this presentation. So you'll see a post in the discussion group of the webinar, and then we'll also be sending this out via email, and we'll make sure to include those links so you can click on them live on the follow up.
Great.
No, that's great. Again, I want to thank everybody for joining. We have 2 minutes for some questions. I know that there's been some questions coming in. I know a lot of these have been hit during the presentation. So I do want to give an opportunity for, if you have any questions, please feel free to submit those inside of the chat here, and we'll get to a couple of these. I'm looking through the questions.
I did throw out my contact information in the chat, so if anyone needs to call me, call me.
Awesome. Thanks, Brody.
And I'll go ahead. Okay, I'll go ahead and put my my email address in the chat as well, if that's okay with everyone.
Yeah, no, please do. Thanks, Shannon.
Does anyone have any questions that Paul or myself can answer?
The big question. It looks like all of them have been answered along the way. The big question is pricing. There are 3 different offerings of ideal estate recruiting that you'll identify when you click through to the tile. You'll be presented with 3 different options, and each of those options allow for a different number of recruits to automatically be qualified and passed over to be flagged as qualified to send over to nurturing. I know that this has been very methodically researched and thought out, and the pricing is very competitive, but the pricing does start at $199 and allows for a certain number of recruits, and then you have the option to have additional tiers there.
Yeah, and on our side, you're always going to be building your pipeline recruiting. So when you combine the two, it really takes a lot of the work out. So you have, constant recruiting, and we nurture a bit on our side in terms of getting people ready to go over. And so, we're far less expensive than many of the other competitors, and we want it to be that way. And to a couple other people's questions, we don't have contracts. Those are not friendly to agents. So this is something you turn on, turn off. Although with the exclusivity of this, by being a part of it, you are kind of locking in your spot. So that's the only caveat, just full transparency there.
Great. And I know, and talking with you, Brandon, Shannon, and Brody, there has been a lot of success already. This is a new integration, a new offering, and it's been fun to sync up with Brody, Shannon, and Brandon to talk about successes that they've had with the platform. So it's been fun to see this working for individuals and being their helpful go-to in growing their team. So it's been fun to see it, and I'd love to hear your experiences with the platform as well. Those that are listening, please don't hesitate to reach out to us at Inside Real Estate or Ideal Estate to share with us how it's been going. But
I do see a lot of friends on here, so.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Lots of familiar faces. But thank you to all 3 of you for joining us. It was really great to showcase what the platform and integration looks like, and to dive in and hear a little bit about you as experts in the field of growing your team and why it should matter and how to go about it. I'll leave you with a big thank you, and then again, the slide here that you see on your screen, you can access Ideal Estate agent recruiting inside of your KB Core Marketplace live right now. Thanks again for attending, everybody. Really appreciate it, and hope you have a great day.